this is Dave Mass for HolmesCountyTicket.com. Welcome to Ticket TV, driven by Village Motors. We're joined in studio today by a couple of lunatics, in my personal opinion. These guys are preparing to run a marathon at Columbus later this fall. It should be interesting. Michael Ewing, welcome to the show. I think this might be your first time here. Kevin Beachy, you've been here before, so you're kind of used to this routine.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk just a little bit about the insanity of running 26.1 miles. Obviously, this is something that few people can do. What kind of spurred you guys to want to run this far?
Well, first of all, it's 26.2.
Oh, 0.2 miles.
That's
even worse.
That last 0.1 is critical. So, I think it's kind of the golden race, I guess, of running. You can run and run, but have you run a marathon yet? Seems to always be the question. So I think it's kind of the golden race, I guess.
Yeah.
So would you?
Yeah, it's also kind of a competitive thing. Once you've run enough races, it's kind of like, well, what can I do here? So then you pick this race, and then all of a sudden you're training 4 months for one race, and so it becomes kind of important.
You know, a lot of people, I think, train for this race not with the idea of winning it, but just with finishing it. I mean, is that kind of how you guys approach this?
Definitely.
For my first one, it was, let's finish it, and then it becomes, you're competitive, so you want to beat that time again, and then you end up, now you're going on your third one.
So, and both of you guys have run 3 races, so this will be your
This will be
your third race.
Yeah.
So, as you near the finish line, I know it's got to be incredibly hard just to finish this thing, but you see people in front of you. Is that competitive spirit kind of kick in where you want to pass them up just because you possibly can?
It's hard to not let it kick in too soon.
That happened to me. Yeah.
It happened to me last year, where I got caught up in the race at 13 miles instead of at 26, where I should have been racing. So, it's hard to hold back on a marathon.
And that's being competitive.
Yeah, same thing happened to me at Cleveland. About mile 20, I went for it, and the last 2 miles, I was dreading that. It hurt pretty bad.
Now, Kevin, you have actually qualified for the Boston Marathon 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
I ran the Boston Marathon 3 years ago.
Okay.
2, I don't even know. It was the year before the Boston.
Wiped it from your memory.
Yeah.
And that was a very hot day, obviously.
It was
one of the tougher days ever.
Hottest Boston Marathon ever, and that I finished, but it wasn't pretty. So I guess this time I'm looking more for a positive experience, because the first one I died on, and then I went, competitive spirit took over, and then the second one it was so hot, it was in the 90s, and in towns it was at least in the hundreds, the heat index. So I guess this one I'm looking for a positive experience, and I want to break 3 hours.
So what do you have to do to qualify to get to Boston?
It varies by age. Our
Okay.
age, for us, we have to run a sub 3:05.
Okay.
So
How close have you been to that?
I ran 3:01 in Cleveland, so to qualify the first time.
So you could have slacked off for 4 minutes and still did it.
Yeah. No.
Well, talk a little bit about your training regime. I mean, you guys, it's something that not everybody can do, obviously. Otherwise, more people would do it. It certainly can't be loads of fun just running and running and running. It's a little nicer when you're out in the countryside and you get to see things. But how do you go about training for running, 26.2 miles?
Well, there's many plans that you can pick from that are going to get you to accomplish whatever your goal is. Since our goal is to be a little more competitive this time, we went with a little bit more of a challenging plan. So we're doing a lot of marathon pace running right now. Last night's workout was 4 by a mile and a half at 5 minutes faster than goal pace.
Okay.
So it's just those kind of runs are prepping us for the actual race. Then you throw in the 16-mile long runs on the weekends, and
Back-to-back 10-milers,
yeah.
things like that.
But do you ever get out and just absolutely run a 26-mile pace just to run it as practice?
No.
No.
I'm going to save those for the big time, huh? Is that
Yeah.
what it works?
It's kind of like with cross country. There's only so many hard efforts or that kind of a thing you can do. At 26 miles that's a hard effort.
So we know he wants to qualify for Boston. Michael, what's your main goal in kind of running this race in Columbus?
My goal is to run my best time. Last year I ran 3:29, and I finished the last 2 miles were terrible because I got carried away early in the race. And so when I finished, at mile 26, you're like, I'm never doing this again. When you cross the finish line, I'm like, I could have run this much faster. I was like, I gotta do it next year and see. So
Yeah.
my goal was to run 3:10, would be a 19-minute PR for me.
Let's just say, by some chance of fate, you actually qualified for Boston. Would you go and compete?
I think I would have to.
Just for the experience.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, that obviously is one of the most prestigious races
Yeah.
anywhere, so
Mhm,
I'm sure you'd want to go just because of that.
exactly.
So take me through the actual day when the race will take place, and that's in Columbus. That's in October.
Yes. It's a Sunday.
Mhm.
We're trying to get all our training in while still working and coaching. So it's kind of hectic. But it works out well because this one is on a Sunday, and so we have districts for cross country on Saturday. So Sunday we are running. It's at 7 in the morning. So, and my wife signed up before I did for this marathon, so I kind of begrudgingly decided I would do it too, and then now I'm all in.
Yeah.
But we have a hotel room the night before, so we're gonna go down after the districts and spend the night, so we're there right there at the start and finish. It makes it easier. But you're just gonna drive down, aren't you?
Yeah, my morning will be driving.
Oh boy, that's exciting in itself.
Yeah, I did it last year and it worked out well, so I plan on the same thing again. At least I know I've been through those areas
Yeah.
before and I'll have to worry about that again. But
What time will you get down there before the race?
I'm planning on probably being there about 5. I think they open the corrals about 5 to let you
Okay.
into the starting lines. And there are, I think, 18,000 people that run in Columbus, so the recommendation is to get there
Yeah.
with plenty of time, and that way you can get settled in. And for me, I get more nervous on whether I'm going to get there on time than actually for the races.
You
And
can't
so,
get nervous for 26.2 miles.
so as long as I get there and I'm settled in, I should be all right for that.
So what do you do just kind of to prep yourself for that upcoming grueling task of running that long?
No surprises.
Yeah.
No surprises. You wanna be consistent on what you do in training, with what you do in the race. So, for instance, right now we're practicing. I can't do gels, which are a common thing around runners. They make me sick. So I am practicing with all these different shot blocks or little blocks and goos and stuff, just to get what works for me. And once I find one, I'm gonna continue that one. Try to eat the same thing for breakfast. So, for instance, toast and peanut butter is what I eat. So
Mhm.
I will make sure I have, bread and peanut butter before I run on Sunday. So
And I'm kind of the same way, but mine's more the night before. I'm going to have the same meal before every long run and then the marathon, because my first one I had a bunch of stomach problems
Yeah.
for the part of it. And that's the main problem with running a marathon is your stomach just can't handle the water you're taking
Yeah.
in every couple miles and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if we're practicing like we're gonna race.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So what's the toughest part about surviving a marathon? Is it the feet? Is it the stomach? Is it the mind? What becomes the biggest battle for you guys?
It's all of them.
All of the above.
At some point, all of them
Yeah.
cross your mind, or at some point your legs are gonna be real tired, and then your head's gonna get you out of that, and then your mind's gonna be like, oh my gosh, there's still 9 miles to go. So you gotta hope your legs are still moving at that point. It's a battle the whole way.
The whole body.
It's
Yeah.
a challenging race.
All right, well, guys, we wish you the best of luck, and it'll be interesting to hear from you guys, see how you do, and see if you qualify for Boston. And who knows, maybe even you might. You never know.
Okay,
Might go down there and throw up a super number. So,
I'd like to.
wish you the best of luck on that.
thank you.
And thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
There's a little insight into one of the more grueling sports there is in the world today. That 26.2 mile marathon. It's not for everybody. It takes some real guts to run it. So it's pretty impressive that you guys would take on that challenge. And there's a lot of other people that would too, but I'm certainly not one of them. So we'll just watch you guys instead. How's that? All right. Well, there you have it. For HolmesCountyTicket.com, I'm Dave Mast. Thanks for joining us.